escalation between Iran and the US. The markets do not seem very impressed by that. Today we're gonna spend some time to look into lower time frame price action and how this war announcement affected price. The TradFi markets are not affected so far because it happened outside of the opening times. Still long ETH, still long ADA. Is this a mistake? Will the war lead to bigger downside? All of that in today's episode. Let's go. Hello and welcome, guys. Said it already in the intro. We have a war escalation, but this is probably not news to you. And I was talking about a big TradFi fear catalyst for this accumulation range, and this is pretty much it. From a human perspective, all of this is horrible. I do not know why we still need war. We live in a world full of abundance. Food is literally growing in soil, in the earth, from sunlight and water. I don't know what all the fuss is about, but I think many of those powerful people are probably sick to their core. And this is unfortunately the political world we live in. It's a difficult topic, I know, and I don't want to go into any specifics because this is not my expertise. My expertise is the market. And in the end, trading is a business. We need to see it with the needed distance. And in this case, we have to be objective, and what a war usually means for the market on a very rational level is what we're going to look into now. And for example, I don't know if you remember, if you're around for quite a while already, you will remember that we had war escalations in the Middle East during this period. And I also remember that everybody was screaming for 22K next, and we never really got that. We never even swept this low. We never got to this 22K level that everybody was talking about. No, in reality, we just kept on going higher, first slowly, but then like real quick. If you remember this week here, this was fake ETF announcements. We had a big liquidity grab here, and then the move continued and nobody was believing it anymore because then it was on real ETF news, BTC ETF and all that. And yeah, so this pretty much was a good time to buy. And there are many charts, you can find them very easy in the internet. This is usually what we need at bottom ranges, at accumulation ranges, simply because this is like real fear. And I mean, it's a real war, right? We all have seen the footage. I mean, nowadays we can't really know what's real and what's not. So I wouldn't go crazy about everything because AI is pretty advanced by now, creating footage. So we can't really know what's going on behind the curtain, what's true and what's not true. In the end, there is real war. I've talked to people that live in this region and they have seen those rockets. It's really happening. And this is super sad, but from a market perspective, it's exactly what we were waiting for. And this is just an example of how rigged the market really is and how bad and how sad the market really is, because it's something pretty much that it's good for our long exposure right now. And I still got the ETH long, I still got the ADA long, and I don't go crazy about anything that happens within this little range here. I also talked with my mentees yesterday about this. You see those crazy volatile spikes within this range, and it makes people crazy. The whole market is just designed to create liquidity on both ends, make people buy, make people sell. And this TradFi fear is now exactly what we want to see for like fear across the board. Now it remains to be seen what happens next, because just because we have now all those confluences, we have prices in key levels, right? We have accumulation for quite a while. We have now TradFi fear. So pretty much everything is lining up. If you're not long here, you're playing the game wrong, in my view. But this is my strategy and I could be wrong. That's why I manage my risk, right? Nothing is certain in the market. But many things actually line up to be long. We're still sitting in the 7-day breaker block here around 2K, nuking below 2K, going above. And we still haven't really closed outside of this level. So let's have a look at what this did to price action on a local level, because some of you might even trade lower time frame. If lower time frame is not messing with your higher time frame ideas, why not? And just a very quick look here. We had the war announcement on the 28th of February at 1 o'clock. This first created a sell-off, and right now we have very elevated volatility. And so we had a 3.5% drop into this demand, But ever since then, we pretty much just went higher. We even created this local high. So don't go crazy about those news, especially in the crypto market. Nothing is what it seems. So all of this is just engineered to make people buy and to make people sell. As sad as it sounds, I mean, I'm not saying that they go for this war. I mean, you can't rule it out, right? I mean, look at look at those leaders, look at those politicians. They are completely ruthless. They have no morals whatsoever. I mean, the president of the United States rocked his community, his fans, his voters with a meme coin on the first day of his presidency. So everything is possible. I'm not saying it can't be the case, but I wouldn't go as far to say they engineered this to trigger the Bitcoin price. But in general, markets and politics are intervened quite aggressive. And even if not, even the war would have happened probably without BTC as well. But obviously those behind BTC, they use this for their advantage, because even if it's not completely connected, those whales, those institutions, those exchanges, they know how people think, and they know this announcement, this war, this attack will make people very, very fearful. And they use this, and you see we got this crazy bounce of 7% ever since like really the news is out and is spreading across the world. So it's not what it seems. If you trade lower time frame, I would ignore news completely if I were you. But on a very high time frame level, looking at this, it is what we were waiting for. We could still sweep this low. I'm not ruling that out, but we don't have to. And now pretty much the last box is also ticked, because we talked about crypto news and how crypto news pretty much are bullish ever since we hit 100K for the first time. So ever since this move here, crypto related news are usually always bullish. We have some bearish news popping up every now and then, some way of saying something, whatever. But in general, crypto news are not reliable anymore. The only thing that's really reliable, if you think about this whole range here, is the real world stuff. Is there some war escalation, the tariff stuff, uncertainty, all of those things, they really impacted the markets. And it's super important to put all of this into context. That's why crypto news alone will not lead you to anything. And even even down here, Trump said, now go out and buy stocks. He did that on those days down here in April. I remember he said, and now you go and buy stocks. And I remember everybody in the community, everybody next was like, if Trump is saying that, it can't be true and this and that. Guys, the world is not black and white. And those people know that. They are not stupid. They don't think black and white. They play the game for a bit longer than the average crypto investor. And so they play with people's minds. If all of this is just noise to you, if it doesn't lead to anything good, just ignore it. The world is a better place without looking at news in general and without listening to whales. If it gives you something, if you can make something of it, obviously go for it. So now it's going to be very important to see how the general markets react on Monday. I'm not saying if this is going down, crypto can't go up, but I think if there is more uncertainty, if there is a bigger escalation, as of now, the leader of Iran seems to be dead, they say. I'm not sure if I should trust this or not, but maybe it's all over now. It was just like this one attack and it's over. Or if it further escalates, the question is how will markets react and how will like investors and like everybody react on Monday. We will see that, and there will be another video about this as well. That said, I still took some longs in the Discord group, shared them live. We had those pullbacks, we had those breakouts, pullbacks, retest of this little accumulation range, and I took my chance and went long. And same on QBT, pretty much same idea, same sector. They pretty much look the same, they move the same. So it just adds up risk. Those two combined 1.5% risk for me. And I also took a position in the nuclear sector here in Leo. Similar idea, breakout here in this demand, point of control, higher time frame point of control, VWAP, and yeah, so taking my chances here, but I see this mainly as hedge. So because my main bias is still that we go lower with for US stocks, that's why I still got here those big shorts. But I don't want to bet everything on one horse, right? So we know that we want to hedge, we want to stay flexible, all that. So I take positions against my main bias because I could be wrong. And then, for example, if we go higher from here, because we also have here this breakout, I would have not taken those longs if this would me not show some strength. the Nasdaq here in this case, and the SPX as well. It's simply not breaking down. It refuses to break down from here. It's not making high highs, it's not making high lows, so it's not very telling. But the Nasdaq here with this little breakout made me curious. Maybe we go for those highs again, maybe we sweep them. And I want to stay flexible and prepared for everything, especially now with TradFi fear increasing pretty much at its peak right now, I would say. It was a good choice to take those longs on Friday, in my view. And either way, in the end, I win, because if this goes high, I can decide to cut it around break even and those longs print. And if those longs get stopped, most likely, it's not a certainty, but most likely this will go down as well. And then I print on those positions. And I also got the Apple short. I'm not quite sure if I shared all those positions already in videos. I think Apple, I did not talk about Apple here, but I think it could be a top for Apple. So it's a high time frame swing short for me, potentially going down here, but obviously taking profits way earlier. And I share all of those ideas live in the Discord. It's free. You can simply join it, apply for the trader role. So if there's any questions, introduce yourself here. Just tell us who you are, what you do, and you get the trader role if we can verify that you legit and the human. And you will get access to all of those plays in live, because as I said, I will not make a video about every single position I take. And you can find PayPal here, Lou, Rigetti, QBT, everything I've talked about right now. And they're still around the level, so it's not too late. But yeah, I shared this on the 27th already. And as I said, I'm not going to make a video. And also here, the study area, essentials, market mechanics. If there's something you just don't get if I talk about something, because I'm not sure how many people are new now to this YouTube channel, because my community will probably know what I'm talking about. But if you're new and you don't understand some things I'm talking about, here's everything I do pretty much completely listed. It's a mix of X posts and some things I wrote down and everything. And this whole Discord is pretty much my live journaling for the public. So if you're interested, as said, link is in the description and it's free. And yeah, so this is what I do right now. I wait for the Monday opening, see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. I'm prepared for everything. Nothing would really surprise me. And as said, don't get dragged into this news kind of thing. Those social media algorithms, they are programmed to drag you in some kind of bubble. If you're not the most fearful guy, you will get a different bubble than, for example, if you are very fearful about this war. And make sure you don't get played by those algorithms, by those whales, and by pretty much those news websites, because most social media are nothing else but modern news, faster format. It doesn't look like news, but in the end, they feed you the same stuff in a faster pace and you don't even think it's news. So make sure you don't get dragged into this, because the real world is actually a very beautiful place. Look at this world, look at the nature, look at everything here on this planet. It's actually paradise. And those sick people at the top of the pyramid, they are creating hell for a lot of people on this planet. And it's super sad to watch, but from a business perspective, this is pretty much what we waited for. This is what this update was about. Over the next days, we're going to have a look how things develop and we dive deeper into crypto majors. Until then, enjoy your Sunday. Bye.